What's up? This is ROH World Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes, and you're watching Ringmasters.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's Ringmasters. I am Chad, and joining me is the Omega to my Alpha.
I'm Austin, and it's weird that you named me Omega because I've not seen a Kenny Omega match.
I said you were the Alpha to my Omega.
I thought you said you were the Omega to my Alpha.
I don't know. We're gonna have to go back and rewatch it. We're gonna have to go back and re-listen. But
2 minutes in, you've already botched.
Yeah, listen. No excuses. Yeah, that's the thing.
But yeah, welcome guys to the Ringmasters podcast. It's been one hell of a week in wrestling news.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, but not only in outside of WWE, but inside WWE, coming off of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, which emanated from Manchester, England. And yeah, it's been crazy as hell. Real quick,
definitely made Survivor Series sound like a way more appealing show.
Oh yeah, I mean, like even if you look at the Team Raw, Team SmackDown elimination match, like that even looks like stacked as all hell. Just considering the fact of who they have on each team, like it's. Because at first I was like, yeah, Raw's got this in the bag. But now I'm just kind of like, there could be a chance. There could be a chance.
There's one member on Team SmackDown that I'm a little confused on, and we'll touch upon that when we get to it.
But real quick, earlier in the week, we heard the news that Chris Jericho has arrived in New Japan Pro Wrestling and has challenged Kenny Omega. The Alpha versus the Omega. The best in the world, Chris Jericho, is facing Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom.
So I was watching the New Japan show, Power Struggle. I was watching it. You know, the match was Kenny Omega versus Trent Beretta for the U.S. title. And it was an okay match, you know. Trent Beretta had a good showing, but Kenny Omega, basically, showed why he's Kenny Omega. Then after the match, he's in the ring and he's like saying, like, I've beaten everybody in New Japan. Like, who's left? Like, nobody. Like, come on, guys. Who in the locker room wants to challenge me? Nobody comes out. Goes to the fans and goes, and if you guys want to challenge me, then he starts, like, saying, like, I am the best. No one can touch me. And it's, like, Japanese. And Kenny Omega is just on another whole planet of incredible wrestling. Mm-hmm. And then, like, he does his catchphrase where he does the Bullet Club thing and says, goodbye and good night. And then, like, the lights go off, right? And I showed you the video.
Yeah, I saw it online, yeah.
But then, like, the countdown, the signature Chris Jericho countdown, and, I'm watching it, and I don't know what's happening, because no one suspects it's going to be Chris Jericho.
Of course not.
And then Chris Jericho's face pops up on my TV, and I screamed like a little girl on Christmas. Like, it was insane, dude. Like, watching that happen live.
Oh, I imagine.
It was one of the few moments where me watching professional wrestling made me a little kid again. Like,
you marked out
I marked out like a madman. Like, I was like, remember the video when the commentator's like, Chris Jericho! It's Chris Jericho!
Oh, yeah.
That was me. I was like, oh my God, it's Chris Jericho!
It reminds me, it's probably the same amount, like, when I marked out when Sami Zayn saved Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell. I was shaking when I saw that.
And then Chris Jericho's like, you're a hell of a performer, Kenny Omega, but I'm the best in the world. And I know you call yourself the best in the world. And then he, like, name dropped CM Punk and Shawn Michaels. And I was like, oh!
Yeah, all of these guys have claimed to be the best in the world, but I'm still here.
Yeah, and
they're gone.
And it's incredible. And then he challenges, because in New Japan, you have to verbally challenge people to, like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he challenges Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12, which is probably the second biggest wrestling show in the world. There's WrestleMania, there's Wrestle Kingdom, and arguably, wrestling-wise, Wrestle Kingdom's above it. But WrestleMania is untouchable.
WrestleMania is the spectacle.
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom is the giant fight night.
So then he challenges Kenny Omega, and oh my God, it was incredible. I got chills. Like, he literally was like, it's gonna be Alpha, I'm the Alpha, versus Omega. And I was like, oh my God.
That's a great line, too. That's a great line to sell the pay-per-view.
And then the show was Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi for the IC title. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't even remember the match. I know it was great, but I was so excited about Omega versus Jericho.
You were just too out of it.
I started tweeting, like, I texted you.
Yeah.
Like, it was incredible. And then apparently WWE had no idea it was happening. Mm-hmm. Apparently they found out when we all did.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, that seems like something Jericho would do because, like, he's been in the business so long that he could do something like that. My contract's up. I'm already in Japan right now.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I don't know if you follow Chris Jericho too roughly on Twitter, but he has a next October he's doing a wrestling cruise
What?
Which I want to get tickets for. I want to do Ringmasters at he's doing a Chris Jericho wrestling cruise, and there's like a whole bunch of rock bands scheduled, and then there's also a bunch of wrestling. They're doing a Ring of Honor tournament.
That's
Ring of Honor at Sea.
That's insane.
And he's been feuding with Jericho on Kenny Omega on Twitter, saying oh, they say you're the best wrestler to ever come out of Canada, but that's me, Junior, and saying he works for the minor leagues and just shooting these angles against Kenny Omega. Yeah. And I thought they were building towards a match on their cruise ship.
You wish.
I literally thought we were going to see. I thought it was going to be for their cruise ship. I had no idea it was going to be at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I literally thought, oh, okay, we're going to get Jericho Omega at his Ring of Honor cruise ship show. What? That's cool. And there's other names like Mick Foley, DDP's advertised to be there.
Damn.
It's going to be it's I think it's called Rock and Wrestling at Sea or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I've actually been on multiple cruise ships with my family. We've been on Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Carnival. Royal Caribbean by far being our favorites. I actually had my first kiss on a Royal Caribbean cruise.
Man.
So that holds a special place in my heart.
Disney Magic.
No, not Disney. It was Royal Caribbean.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I wish it was Disney Magic. That would have been even funnier. But yeah, I think it's awesome that they're doing that on a cruise ship though, because if you've never been on a cruise ship before,
I've never been on a cruise.
They're so much fun because the idea is just you get to go to all these cool places. But even I enjoy the days at sea a lot more because then you have all the activities that they do on the cruise ship. You get to meet so many people and you're all riding the same ship for a week or something like that. Yeah. And then you build these friendships that last a long time. I still keep in contact with some friends that I've met on a cruise ship. Yeah. It's just such a cool experience. Now to have wrestling on that, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the cruise is in October and my birthday is in October. So if anyone's looking for a good birthday present for your boy, I will gladly love to go on, the Chris Jericho cruise ship.
Oh yeah. I wonder where they're heading though. If they're going Caribbean or if they're gonna go I
don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see where they decide to go with that because they have multiple destinations that you can go, but the majority do the Caribbean because it's just it's an easy destination because everyone's it's the Caribbean.
Yeah. But back on the wrestling topic.
Exactly.
But yeah, Chris Jericho and Omega, I think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be the best match on the show, but just as a fanboy of both of these wrestlers, I know this is a dream match for me. And I think everybody who can call themselves a wrestling fan.
I feel like everyone who's a wrestling fan, even if you're like me and have never watched a Wrestle Kingdom show all the way through, or a New Japan show all the way through, in fact, or seeing a Kenny Omega match or any of that kind of stuff. Just the idea that you get to see Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega, that's enough to sell your pay-per-view right there.
Yeah, I know you said oh, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm they got me now. Yeah. They got me now. It's all over from here. I'm just going to be all into New Japan after this show. I'm sure of it.
And we're going to cover Wrestle Kingdom, right? From when we
absolutely,
get...
I feel like there's no way we can't cover a show like Wrestle Kingdom because it's just such a huge event in general. Yeah, and I know that you're planning on showing me Omega versus Okada. Is that correct? Is that who it is? Yeah, because I've never seen that, and I've heard so much about that.
Oh, that's the best match I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've
seen a good amount of wrestling matches. So, it's an hour.
The only New Japan match I've ever seen is AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10 before they both left. Yeah, that match was insane. Yeah. That got me super hyped for Shinsuke.
Kenny Omega and Okada's better.
Oh, yeah?
Which tells you how good that match is.
Oh my god!
Now it's an hour. I'm warning you. It's a long one.
I lasted John Cena, Randy Orton's 1 hour Iron Man match, which was kind of just a massive mess in a sense. Just seeing halfway through the match, Randy Orton decides I'm gonna blow up John Cena. It's slamming on the pyrotechnics board and then just tries to blow him up.
Yeah.
I lasted an hour for that. Now if I can last an hour for that, I think I can last an hour for this.
Truth.
But yeah, now getting on to Monday Night Raw, which started in Manchester, England. First of all, there were no LED ring posts for UK. They don't get those, apparently.
Apparently not.
Yeah, they just get the normal steel ones.
Leave those for the good old US of A.
Yep, that's what we get. But we had Miz TV with Kurt Angle, which first The Miz immediately shouted off at Baron Corbin, finally mentioning the actual Twitter feud that they've been having. There was a "Who's your daddy" chance at at Miz, but basically, yeah, he just lit into Baron Corbin in that promo, and at that point, you got to imagine that just Miz going at Baron Corbin, whether he wants to or not, he's gonna be the babyface in this feud.
Oh yeah, and Miz looking into the hard cam, being red in the face, just screaming is my favorite Miz.
Yeah.
Like the Miz where he's just like, I'm the best and no one ever gives me any respect for it.
Yeah, like his talking smack.
How dare you
his
talk about
talking
my
smack
wife?
swinging,
Yeah.
like when he's just got like bloodshed in his eyes and he's just passionate about what he's saying. Yeah, that's the best. Well, because like people can do that, but like not a lot of people believe you when you do that because like you're just reading from a script. Miz is just shouting and like speaking from the heart. But yeah, after that we had Kurt Angle come out for Miz TV. One other thing I love about, I'm going to continue to talk about the UK stage. They finally got rid of the stupid phone booth in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and then of course everyone's like, well, how are they going to know if they're in the UK? You say they're in the UK.
How are we going to know we're not in the UK if there's no Doctor Who TARDIS on the ramp?
How are we not going to know that if we don't have like a giant Margaret Thatcher standing on the fucking board?
That's like being like, how like, if they're like, you think if they do like live events in like China, it's like, how are we going to know they're in China if there's not a giant wall?
Your audience knows that they're in China. You don't need to remind them they're in China.
Oh man,
exactly.
I forgot where I was at first.
Dude, I totally forgot where we were. But thank you for reminding me.
Like, is there a crying man in a Lions jersey when they go to Detroit? Like, I need to be reminded.
Something like that. But Miz immediately told Kurt Angle, like, you don't need to apologize to Daniel Bryan for what happened last week on Raw. You need to apologize to Curtis Axel for getting murdered by Braun Strowman. And Kurt just got furious and decided, you know what, you're facing Braun Strowman tonight for the IC Championship. Was it for the IC Championship?
I don't think it was for the IC title because Braun won, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the IC title.
No, last week was when he defended his IC Championship. Yeah.
Against Matt.
That's what I got confused. But yeah, so Miz has to face Braun Strowman, and then the match that I was dreading the most, they immediately threw to the start of the show, was the Elias Sampson versus Jason Jordan guitar on a pole match. I mean, like, man. I feel like the WWE knows like how much people joke about the something on a pole match.
I love it.
But like, I don't understand why they keep doing it because it's just a stupid freaking concept.
See, I don't know. I like my wrestling to be a little stupid. So I was all about the guitar on a pole match. Granted, if there was ever going to be a wrestling match that got you into wrestling, it's the guitar on a pole match. No,
it's not. That is definitely not that match. But it was funny, though, just seeing Elias trying to walk out to the stage, pretending like he's holding his guitar, but then he looks at his hand and just like, it's not there.
And then he's like, I'm going to sing a song for all of you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to sing a cappella. But he's like, when he goes for his, and I have just one question for everyone. I heard someone in the crowd shout, I will marry you! And I was just like, you, Mark. And then like he asked what song that he thinks everyone wants him to sing, and he's like, Wonderwall. And then everyone's like, yeah! And he's like, well, too bad I wrote an original. I'm like, nice, he'll work. So he starts like he's gonna sing a cappella. Jason Jordan comes out. So the match was garbage. It's what you expect from something on a pole match. It's just like, it's stupid, like, because like you're just trying. It's like all they're doing is beating each other up so one of them can climb up a pole and grab something. So Elias ends up grabbing the guitar, but Jordan's able to avoid it, and then Jordan hits Elias with his guitar, and Jason Jordan wins the match. I was just like, eh.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, what else are you gonna have either of them do?
Exactly. But, like, I mean, like, I feel like you don't need to base it around the guitar. Like, I feel like you can have, like, wrestling matches between them. Like, you could even just done an Extreme Rules match or a no-holds-barred match, and then the guitar gets used. You don't need to saddle your match all around, like, you have to use the guitar. Because if you have an Extreme Rules match, you can imagine one of them's going to use the guitar. Right.
Or, when Jason Jordan threw, heads of lettuce and produce at Elias, they could have fought at, like, a supermarket.
We would have gotten like a recreation of Stone Cold and Booker T. Yeah. Price check on Jackass.
Are they having the cabbage on a pole match next week?
Oh, Christ. Anything, like, we'll have bananas on a pole match. It's like, and then we'll bring Judy Bagwell back. Put her on a forklift.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Is she still around? Let's put Judy back on there. It's like, I'd imagine they just call, like, Judy, we need you again. She's like, I'm not standing on a forklift again.
I'm still on the forklift. No one ever came and got me down.
Yeah, but then we had Asuka versus Jobber. I believe her name was Stacy Coates.
Yep.
And
Aleister Black's girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I actually did not
She
know
actually
that.
got to try out after this.
Now I gotta ask you about this because I kept noticing it ever since Asuka arrived on the main roster. The pause before her entrance song, like it goes black, the mask shows up, and then the song starts.
Yeah.
Now, like in NXT, it was just the mask and the song started at the exact same time, which I think is a million times better.
Yeah.
I don't get the pause. Like, do you feel the same way, or does it not bother you that much?
I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
Really?
I didn't notice it.
It's just weird because it's like you'd imagine like that'd be the part for your pop, but like it's like you show it and then like the pop's supposed to happen and then the song starts. But my mindset goes to, well, if Vince was so pissed off about Seth Rollins' pause in his entrance music, why do we have a giant pause at the beginning of Asuka's?
Yeah. No, I didn't even notice it. I'll look for it next time. But
You'll notice it and then you won't be able to not notice it.
Yeah.
Because it's so like it's like literally like 4 seconds of silence while the mask is up there and then you just hear the boom.
Okay.
It's like it's really weird. But then Alicia Fox was like, "Attention everyone, this is your Raw captain speaking. Asuka is now a member of Team Raw. Now SmackDown's dead."
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way that okay, so you have to put Asuka on the card. It's Asuka.
Exactly.
And there's really no other match you could have put her in but this one. But that also does kill who's going to win now. Because there's no way Asuka gets pinned and eliminated.
Yeah.
Which would also have to then mean that there's no way she loses.
Unless they attack her backstage and then like she can't come out and compete. Like let's say like the entire SmackDown team just completely swarms Asuka.
Yeah.
And then she can't wrestle and then it becomes 4-on-5.
Or if you want, they could do that. They could do that same thing where they attack her before the show. It's 4-on-5, and then the last person left is like, let's say like Sasha. Sasha gets pinned. They celebrate because they think they win. The bell doesn't ring though. And then all of a sudden, Asuka then storms the ring, kills all 5 of them, and then wins the match.
That would be good, but I feel like everyone wants to see Asuka though.
Yeah,
like more than just like her showing up at the end of the match. So
that's the thing
I feel
too.
like
I want to see her in a 1-on-1 match. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would rather, if she's not going to single-handedly destroy all 5 members, I'd almost rather just not have her on this pay-per-view.
Yeah,
because like what I mean, if she only eliminates like 1 person. Or like 2 people, and then like everybody else does all the work. Like, yeah, you still get Asuka, she still destroys them, but I don't want to see her as a team player.
Yeah,
she's above the women's roster in my opinion.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, because like she's like, because nobody's like her. Like nobody can bring that kind of like just giant star power because of the fact that she hasn't been beaten.
Yeah.
She's the female Goldberg.
Now, correct me, because I'm not 100% sure. Is Carmella on the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team?
No, she's not.
So it would make... So, I mean, like, there you go. Asuka, Carmella. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
A match you could have. Raw versus SmackDown. Boom.
Exactly. It's like... It really doesn't make all that sense as to why Carmella's just not appearing on the show.
And then you could have Carmella jab to Asuka, and then later on that night, cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase, become the champion.
Yeah, she
and
could.
then that automatically rights the wrong of her. We then forget that she lost to Asuka.
Yeah,
Asuka looks strong because she beat a name.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's the way to go. I don't have a problem with her being on the women's team though.
I don't either.
I'm just worried they're gonna like mess up her booking and have her get pinned.
Yeah. Well, if they have her get pinned in a Survivor Series match, like that's gonna infuriate me so much.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, after that, we were supposed to get Titus O'Neil versus Samoa Joe, but Joe attacked Titus and Apollo before the match even started. Basically just came up, threw Apollo off the stage, like, bye, Apollo, and then just completely beat up Titus, put him in the Coquina clutch, and then Samoa Joe calls out for an actual challenge, and Finn Balor comes out.
This match was great.
This match was very good, yeah. It was good to see this NXT rematch, and when Finn dived onto Joe, he basically like flew over him almost. Yeah. It was crazy. But it ended up ending in a double count out after Joe threw Finn up the ramp. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I know that's gonna upset people, but at the same time, like
there's no way
you can actually pick a legitimate winner out of this.
Both of these two had to be strong. Both of these guys can't eat a loss, but both of these guys shouldn't eat a loss.
Yeah.
If you're planned, like I think I heard that. Their next plan after Survivor Series is to do Brock versus Finn for like Rumble. So you can't have Finn Balor lose here, but also Samoa Joe can't lose because Samoa Joe is a killer. So I am totally fine with the booking of this match.
Yeah, and there was a great moment too where like Finn and Joe, first of all, Finn and Samoa Joe were added to Team Raw for the SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series matchup, which I was like, wow, that's great. You have two people that basically hate each other, Kurt. I think your plan is starting to backfire a little bit. And also I just love it how Kurt comes out to break it up, and he goes, listen. Survivor Series is the only night of the year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head in competition. He reads it like a goddamn fucking.
Yeah,
he reads it like a robot.
Listen. Survivor Series is the only. Yeah, no, I thought the same thing.
That's exactly. Well, I mean, like it's
Michael
just like,
Cole's back there with the lines.
like,
on the
can you
card
read this?
with the script?
Kurt, like Vince grabbed him like before then, and it's just like, you're gonna say that line.
You're gonna
right
say
as you come out.
You repeat it to yourself over and over again.
You got to imagine that like Vince has that on a loudspeaker, just saying that like 24/7 for all the superstars, so they remember when they cut a promo.
Well,
they have to mention that.
Well, it's like when when they do SummerSlam and they're like, "It's the biggest party of the summer." Like,
at least with
WrestleMania, it's the ultimate thrill ride.
But at least it like it's short. But like that whole like it's the only night of the year where Raw and SmackDown go head to head in competition. That is not like you could just say it's Raw versus SmackDown, and then you're done.
Yeah, this is the only night where it's Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all you needed to say.
The only time the Raw and SmackDown guys wrestle. Boom.
Exactly. It's like it's the only time you see Raw face off against SmackDown or SmackDown face off against Raw.
Yeah.
It's like that's all you need to say. You don't need to say
fantasy warfare.
You don't need to say it's in head-to-head competition. Like we get what it means. It's SmackDown versus Raw. You made video games based around this. But yeah, it's fantasy warfare just got real. That was one of the bad ones too.
Yeah.
I was just like, Christ, you're working so hard trying to make this sound cool, but it's not working. But yeah, Miz, like they cut to Miz backstage, who was walking back and forth and was just completely petrified of facing off against Braun Strowman, and of course the Miztourage did not help. And then we had Jason Jordan being added as the final member of Team Raw, which I mean we kind of all saw coming.
Yeah.
And it was like he's like you beat Elias, like you're gonna be the next final member. And then Jason's
I need
like
someone I can trust.
It's like Jason's like a happy child and stuff like that. It's like, thanks, Dad. You will not regret this. I'm gonna make you so proud.
He's totally going heel at Survivor Series.
Please.
I want the final two to be him and Jason Jordan facing off against like, like some SmackDown guys, and then like Jason Jordan just turns around and like Angle slams Kurt Angle and leaves. That's what I want.
Oh yeah.
Like I would, you know what I want? I would love it if it ends up being like the final like Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon, right? That's the last three guys in the match, and then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. Like let's say Shane does like a move, like a spot where he like jumps off a table and like they move and he's on the ring, outside the ring like hurting.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get in the ring and they're staring off, and it's like Jordan and Angle and Owens and Sami Zayn, and they're squaring off, and then Jordan Angle slams him and leaves, and then Owens and Sami Zayn beat him up and then throw Shane over him, because then you get Owens and Sami Zayn giving SmackDown the victory. And we get Jason and being like, the only reason you guys won is because of us.
Yeah.
And then we still get Jason Jordan turning heel on Angle.
Exactly.
That's how I would book the ending of that match.
I think that would be a strong ending, and I just want to see exactly what they can do. I'm not very good at trying to book elimination matches.
Yeah.
It's just like, because then you got to be like, who pins who goes, like, who survives to the end, like, how many people are left. It's like, I want to see what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be an interesting ending to it. But after that, we had Nia Jax and Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks and Bayley, who were like, you should have us on this team. The fact you don't have us on this team is ridiculous. There was a hey Bayley chant, which is crazy to think that Bayley is only getting cheered outside of the States just because of how poorly she's been booked.
Yeah.
And so it was a decent match, I feel like, and there was a great spot where Nia stepped on Bayley's ponytail and just started pulling her up. Like, that was a cool spot. Banks statement to Alicia Fox, and then Sasha and Bayley get the win, and then she's like, Bossy Banks, I need you on my team. So Bayley gets left in the dust.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think their long-term plan is to do a Sasha versus Bayley feud.
Yeah.
And I think to do that, you need a heel Sasha. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it makes more sense to have Bayley on it, and then that could be a reason for Sasha to turn.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with Bayley not being on the card, and it's, again, because she's booked so poorly that I don't really care about her.
Exactly.
Which sucks to say, because Bayley used to be my favorite women's wrestler that they had.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, I don't understand how you could ruin a character just like that because like it's basically a female John Cena, but you make her like I didn't come here to fight. I just came here to put smiles on people's faces. And why are you wrestling?
Yeah, I don't want to hear my wrestler be like, I don't want to fight. I want to hug.
The moment that immediately killed Bailey for me was when she did the kendo stick on a pole match, and she grabbed the kendo stick and couldn't use it. I'm like, are you stupid? Why would you accept this match if you didn't want to hit someone with a kendo stick?
That's what irritates me also.
It's like it makes literally no sense.
She had like an inner struggle of, I can't use it.
It made Bailey look stupid. It made her look weak. It just, like, that was the reason why people were booing Bailey for a while. Like, when I went to NXT TakeOver and Bailey was on the screen, people were booing Bailey, and I was trying to be like, no, guys, Bailey's great, but then I look back at everything, I'm like, oh, God damn it. I'm just like, why did you have to do this to Bailey?
What made me start not liking Bailey is when Byron Saxton started being a fan.
Oh, of course.
Because
Byron ruins everything.
Because I have to hate everything Byron Saxton enjoys.
Of course.
Because that's just how I am.
That's just how it works.
Oh my God, it's Bailey! It's the wacky waving arm flailing tube man!
Yeah, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Like,
Yep. Of course, I
want to be a Bailey buddy. I want you to leave.
It always comes back to Byron Saxton. And then now we come to the Braun Strowman versus the Miz match, and Braun just basically throws Miz around. Bo gets kicked and Curtis gets thrown. Miz gets thrown into Bo and Axel, but it's got to be Kane, and Kane comes out, and Braun actually hits Kane with a running power slam, but Kane ends up waking back up, and then just like, I can't remember how that ended, but Kane woke back up and I think chokeslammed Braun. So yeah, Miz won by DQ. I'm wondering if they're gonna book this match for Survivor Series or if they're gonna wait for the next show, considering the fact that they're so high on their horses for Raw versus SmackDown.
Well, there'd be no way they could. Well, I mean, because Miz is already booked in a match, Braun's in the Survivor Series match, so Kane just isn't gonna have. I mean, Kane is probably gonna get involved.
Somewhere, yeah.
Somewhere, I'm sure the Braun will probably get eliminated because Kane does something. Because I do think their money match is Braun Kane. I would save that for WrestleMania if I'm being honest with you.
You think so?
I think there's enough juice there, and WrestleMania really isn't that far away. Like, yes, it's in April, it's November, but really when you think about it, there's a lot, especially if you're having him feud with the entire Miz Taraj in general. Like, there's enough to where you could have him do a little mini program with Miz and the Miz Taraj, have him win the IC belt, and then, like, start defending it against little random feuds while the main focus is still Kane. To where you could then use your feud to make it Kane Braun. Because I do think that's your money match. Do I think they will? No. They'll probably have Kane versus Braun Strowman the next week on Raw, and then that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're so
long-term storytelling isn't
their thing. Long-term storytelling is dumb.
Yeah. We're going to blow all of our
It's like, we're going to give it away on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one thing I wanted to comment on was when Seth and Dean were backstage talking about their tag match. They do the little shield thing, and then they walk away, and Renee's just
Renee
like,
does it.
yeah.
I love Renee.
Right. She's so freaking cute. Like,
Yeah.
At first, when I found out that her and Dean were dating, I'm like, oh, that's adorable. But at the same time, I was like, aw.
It's funny, too, like knowing that Dean Ambrose and Renee Young are like a couple, like, and they're, I think they're married now.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I don't keep up with the Total Divas like marriage and
neither do
stuff.
I don't give a shit about Total Divas. but I'm pretty sure they're married. But watching them interact and like seeing how like they're like just like so like happy and in love with one another that they smile during promos, but also are trying to keep it professional because like they can't know like kayfabe that we're together.
Yeah, we all remember.
It's adorable.
We all remember what happened when Ruru and Lana tweeted out their wedding picture.
Yeah.
That was not
like, I don't want to get sappy here, but as a guy who is also planning a wedding, when I see Dean Ambrose and Renee Young do the shield fists, I'm like, relationship goals.
Oh yeah, for sure. See, I never watched Total Divas. I did like catch it every once in a while.
Not a second have I.
I actually watched Total Bellas, and it was just kind of to see what Daniel Bryan was up to, and it just made me depressed because like this was right after he retired, and he was miserable, and I was just like, I care about you more than anything else in this show. I just want to see you wrestle just to make you happy.
Yeah.
I was just like, God dang it.
Well, we can He'll be able to be super happy in 2019 when he faces Cody for the Ring of Honor title.
Oh God, please. Yeah. Now I actually do end up watching. I do end up watching Total Divas with my friend Sadie because Alexa Bliss is now on, and that is like she is all over that. She was like, I'm watching this I watched the first episode, and honestly, the best part was when out of all of it was when Nia was getting eaten out by Maurice, and Maurice was just shouting at her like, you don't know anything about respect, because Nia's like, oh, it sucks you can't do this anymore or whatnot because you're pregnant and all that stuff or whatever. And then Maurice is yelling at her and Nia's yelling at her, and just Alexa's in the back just like, just get me out of here, please.
That sounds like an enjoying piece of television.
That's about as enjoyable as reality TV can get.
Oh, hey, you're talking to the hardcore Survivor fan over here.
Okay.
But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yep. Well,
Wrestling.
honestly, after that was Enzo. Like, that was just
this is the best part of the whole show.
Well, it was the best part after Enzo got the crap kicked out of him. There were "We Want Neville" chants, boring chants. The commentators started talking over Enzo.
When Enzo said, when they did the "We Want Neville" chants, when he said, "I ran him out of town," that was a cool line.
That was a cool line, yeah. But like, it's crazy too, because like the commentators started talking over Neville. Yeah. I mean, not over Neville, over Enzo. I was just like, you can obviously see how much people care about Enzo's talking now because the commentators are talking over him. And then Pete freaking Dunne. Pete Dunne comes out, or should I say, Kurt Angle comes out to Pete Dunne's entrance music.
Pete Dunne's music hits, huge pop. It's Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he comes out. I feel like that was a mistake. That was a total miscue because like he's just out here. Allow me to introduce to you your opponent. His name's on the Titantron, Kurt. It's like I feel like he should have just like improvised at that point and just went, ladies and gentlemen, Pete Dunne, and then he comes out.
Yeah,
but yeah, because like the fact that he was trying to build it up while his music was already playing was just like, oh God! But it's the cruiserweight versus the bruiserweight. And
the bruiserweight Pete Dunne.
He knocked Enzo silly.
Pete Dunne is the goddamn man. Let me just say that. I love Pete Dunne.
I was so glad to see Pete Dunne on Monday Night Raw. I'm glad when I see really any of the UK stars on Monday Night Raw because you look at the UK you watched the UK tournament, right?
Every second of it was great.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And like you look at that and then you also take a look at like what they're doing on the main roster on NXT. They're not given much. They do a lot more on the independents, like in progress, more than they do on the show.
And I also watch ICW, and I've seen progress. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
when I see these guys who I've seen before the UK tournament on the UK tournament, it makes me want to see them even more. And then when they said, "Oh, we're getting that UK show," and then we never got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's upsetting.
Yeah, and it was weird too, because now you're seeing like Triple H show up on ICW.
Yeah,
which was really weird.
That was really cool.
It was cool, yeah, but it was really weird. But I was like, you're looking at this too, and I'm like, because then they ended up throwing the UK stars on 205 Live the next night, and I was just like. It's like, because you're looking at it, because like at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, they did have a tag match between Mustache Mountain, Pete Dunne, and oh God, who was the other one? It was the NXT they recorded before TakeOver actually started. It was Pete Dunne and I can't remember.
He was Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, yes. It was Wolfgang and Pete Dunne versus Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
So it was great that we got to see actually the UK talent and the UK championship on NXT.
Yeah.
But like you look at that and you're like, man, these guys should be putting on title matches that just completely blow everything out of the water.
And wasn't Joseph Connors on 205 Live?
He was, yeah,
which
he
was.
was.
Really cool.
It was cool to see Joseph Connors at all because I remember the first time I ever saw him was in WCPW, and I was like, damn, this guy's good.
All of the great Huxley, Joseph Connors. I think Mark Andrews is on 205 Live, and I was pumped. I thought it was really cool to see all of them.
Exactly.
But so Pete Dunne, hopefully he sticks around and it will be on Raw long term.
Yeah.
I really want them to make that UK title. I want to see it defended more.
Yeah.
I know he's defending it against Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver.
Yeah, I heard rumors that they weren't even going to put that on the network.
The match with him and Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, I heard that wasn't even going to be on the network.
I hope it is, but I mean that wouldn't surprise me. They do a lot of really dumb things.
Yeah, it's like I heard that and I was just like, no, you need to find a spot for this on your pay-per-view because these guys, because one, Johnny Gargano is amazing. I love Johnny, and Pete Dunne is
Pete
amazing.
Dunne.
And I'm like, you guys could have such a good match. Like, that could be match of the night if you give them the time and you give them the platform.
That has and would main event like almost any other wrestling show that you have, that any company that there is.
Exactly.
Like Pete Dunne, Johnny Wrestling would be a main event almost anywhere.
I feel like if you don't give the main event to the UK title, it's like, well, why should anybody care about
well,
it?
isn't exactly, but isn't like the NXT title for that takeover? Isn't it Andrew Cien Elmis and Galloway? I believe it is.
The
War Games is the main event.
Yeah,
but isn't the NXT title also being defended against Cien Elmis?
I think so. I have not kept up with NXT as much as I should have. I do know that it's still Drew McIntyre who's holding the title. I do know that.
McIntyre.
Exactly.
Not Galloway.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the plan is. I always fall behind and then try to catch up right before the next takeover.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna end up trying to do. But I'm sure I'm gonna just just beat myself over the head with NXT until I catch up.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be all over again because it's so easy to get far behind and it takes a decent amount of time to catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that they actually put like a main event matchup
Even
for
if
the title.
even if it just opens the show.
Exactly.
Like I'm not asking for much. Like
just put them on the show.
put on the show.
But yeah, and then finally to finish off Monday Night Raw, we had the Raw Tag Team Championships being defended.
Another good match.
Yep, the Shield and Dean versus the Bar. Very good, great heat too from the Bar coming out in Liverpool jerseys.
Oh yeah.
Now I actually do follow English Premier League soccer or football.
I'm glad you do because I do not.
I do enjoy watching it, and I do enjoy playing FIFA and all that kind of stuff. So I do enjoy it. I personally support Arsenal, which is like Northern London, and
I like Chelsea. It's the only soccer team I know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what league they're in.
They're in the same league. Same league.
When I played FIFA, I played as Chelsea.
Of course you did. No, but it was great to see them get some legitimate heat, though, because I don't like Manchester United. I think they're basically the New England Patriots of English Premier League soccer or football. It's just like they're so like stacked to the gills with money, they can buy any player they want.
What's the Los Angeles soccer team?
The LA Galaxy.
I have a hat from the LA Galaxy. It's back at my house.
The MLS is actually Detroit's trying to get an MLS
I saw
team.
that.
I want that so badly.
I got the LA Galaxy hat at a thrift store for $1.
I want a Detroit MLS team so badly, so I can
I'll probably follow soccer at that point.
Exactly. There you go. But yeah, so there was a dangerous double crucifix bomb to Dean on the barricade that I thought was going to break his shoulder.
Yep.
I was just like, no, I'm getting flashbacks to Finn Balor. Like, please don't do this. And then also forgot to mention that Roman Reigns will be back next week on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
The Shield will be reunited again. And then it's the New Day coming from the crowd.
So, yeah. So, New Day come to the crowd. They say it's the Siege 2. And then Kurt Angle comes out, and I think it's funny. You know, Kurt Angle comes out, and he's like, it's the Siege. They're taking over. I better get my best guys.
Yep.
And following behind him are Heath and Rhino.
Yep.
Like, that'd be like me getting into like a bar fight and being like, all right, don't worry. I got my best guys on the job. And then I go to like a cross country elementary school and get some fourth graders. Like, it'd be like if like Grant went out and like we're like, oh, I got to get my boys to back me up, and then pulled me aside and we're like, my boy Chad will mess him up. I would get demolished.
Yeah, exactly.
and you know, it's the new, and don't get me wrong, maybe Slater and Rhino could take on the New Day. Maybe. I don't know, but
no, and it's also funny too cuz like Big E had to get a microphone and also had to get the sound guys to do their entrance to like throw everyone off. Like I think your tech team has some guys on Raw playing for the other team, guys. If they're so compliant with the New Day.
And another thing, Kurt Angle's like, Braun, you go wait over there. Like,
yeah, Braun comes out.
Braun's like, okay. Like, no, I want Braun to be like, Braun goes where Braun wants to go. Braun.
And they did a man's not hot joke.
Yeah.
And I was like, and also they're like, we're going Under Siege Part 2. And what's the Raw roster gonna do? Nothing.
And I love how, like, you know, Sheamus walks up to the ref and goes, is this match still a thing? The ref's like, yeah, it never got thrown out. So there's wrestlers everywhere. And Sheamus just, I think, bro kicks Dean and then pins him when no one's looking.
And then, I think he, no, was
or did he just roll him up?
I think he bro kicked Dean, and then, like, Seth tried to, no, I thought it was Seth that got bro kicked.
One of them.
Seth got bro kicked because I remember seeing Dean trying to reach in as Cesaro grabbed it. He's like, no!
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Bar win the tag titles.
New tag team champions.
Did not see that coming.
Oh, me neither.
No, I'm happy it happened because now, instead of seeing the Usos versus Dean and Rollins, which I'm sure would have been great, we get the Usos versus the Bar, which will be great, and also the dream match between the New Day and the Shield.
There you go.
I have said for so long that is your money match. Like, those 3 guys need to square off.
Those 6 guys need to square off.
Those 2 stables need to fight. And they are now. And I think that will be really cool.
Oh, it's going to be
the
one
Shield's
hell of a
going
match.
over. There's no way the New Day win.
Yeah.
But it's still cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I don't think a lot of us thought we would see because when the New Day were picking up, it was kind of when the Shield broke up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great to see that. And it's great that we're going to get to see that. That was one hell of a dusty finish, though, if I've ever seen one.
Oh, yeah. And they did a great job of making the Bar, of getting heat on the Bar and still making Rollin and Dean not look weak.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was a pretty good Monday Night Raw, if I do say so.
Yeah, both shows this week were really good. This was just a good week in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because SmackDown
Minus
Live...
Bound for Glory.
Again, yeah.
That show was hot garbage.
I didn't watch that. I did see the promo from El Patron. Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna give Impact the satisfaction of us promoting their show on Ringmasters. Their show's hot garbage.
I mean,
fight me.
Are we really?
Scott D'Amore.
Are we really promoting it if we're just tearing it down?
Good point.
Yeah.
When your main event is Johnny Impact versus Eli Drake, now, and I love Eli Drake, but that match was garbage.
Yeah, I like Johnny Mundo.
Yeah, I like both of them.
But
garbage.
I
karate chopped the mic. I hated it so
Dude,
much.
He's so hot right now. He's taking out the mic.
That match got me heated.
We got to put him in the corner. He's just gonna break this entire set.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, no, that's enough about Impact for the
now to
SmackDown
lifetime. Live, which is not live because it's pre-recorded. So why did they still call it SmackDown Live?
Well, I mean,
I don't know if you saw this. It was so edited. It was embarrassing. Like
and they
how
still had
edited it was.
WTF moments on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like you had like 4 hours to edit the show, and you managed to make it seem even worse. Because Shane McMahon comes out, like his promo is very obviously edited. There are fake pops thrown in there that are so easy to spot.
At least I didn't have to pay the crowd.
Exactly.
Sorry, I want to go back to Impact for a minute. They put out casting calls on a Canadian website to get backstage background actors to come to their crowd and pretend to be fans. That is mind-boggling. Who would you want to make $50? We could go for 2 days, watch 8 hours of wrestling and make $50. That is insane.
Yeah.
I've heard of giving tickets away for free to fill a show, but paying people to continue.
He's so hot right now. He's like
Impact Wrestling's a dumpster fire, and this cup of coffee could run a better wrestling show.
Dude, I've never seen an episode of Impact in my life.
You're lucky.
I did end up seeing the 1 5-star match by Dave Meltzer. The
great match.
The AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels.
There was a time in the early 2000s where I liked TNA I liked WWE.
I think it was just because of the X Division. But then after they decided to go head to head with Monday Night Raw,
as soon as Hulk Hogan bought it, I was out.
Yeah.
Or kayfabe bought it. I was
honestly,
out.
I'm gonna real quick go off a tangent because after SmackDown Live, I got to watch the 30 for 30 for Ric Flair.
Was that good?
That was really good.
I missed it because I was.
It was a freaking heartbreaker though, because especially when they mentioned his retirement. They mentioned his retirement, and
did they mention TNA?
They did.
Oh my god!
He was like
TNA.
the first day after. He's like the first day after my retirement, I was miserable, and then they cut to him in a wheelchair at TNA. I was like, oh my god, no!
That's the most publicity TNA's gotten in years.
Oh no! And they showed him in the giant cage match where his head was getting slammed into the cage.
The Lethal Lockdown match.
Yeah, they showed that. And then they showed him, and I think they showed him and Jay Lethal wooing at each other.
Oh, when Jay Lethal did his Ric Flair bat. Oh, that was cool. I
I was like, oh no. I was like, because I was talking in the in Cultaholics Discord because I'm a mod in that. I was talking in the Discord, and one of the members were like, "What is TNA?" Ric Flair's retirement, and then right after that, we cut to TNA footage. I'm like, "Oh shoot! Oh no!" And it hurt to watch it. It really did.
Dude, I remember when Ric Flair retired and he went to TNA. They eventually had a match, and it was It was, I think, Ric Flair versus, I think it was either Sting or Hogan. Or it might even have been Bischoff. But it was I say it was hot garbage quite a bit. It was the hottest of all the garbage. Like, it was like if you took garbage and like lit it ablaze with a blowtorch, that match was hotter than that.
I mean,
hot garbage.
That 30 for 30, like the build up to like Ric Flair like getting trained to be a wrestler was very interesting, and it was really cool because like what they did was, because a lot of the stuff they don't have footage for, obviously.
Yeah.
So they had like these little animated segments of like what Ric Flair did to become a wrestler, like having to like run up 20 flights of stairs and run down 20 flights of stairs, firemen carry them up the stairs, and then be carried up, then wheelbarrow them, and like the way that they like showcase that, and like. Because, like, you could show photos of that and, like, get the idea of cross. But the fact that you have, like, actual, like, somewhat footage that you can show that is a really interesting way of going about it. Because I don't think I've seen a 30 for 30 do something like that.
I'm glad they did a cartoon reenactment and not just, like, got a guy who somewhat looks like Ric Flair. And did, like those, like, live-action reenactments they do where they get a guy who has, like, the same, like, hair color as Rick, so that's supposed to be Rick.
Yeah.
Like running upstairs.
Now, them showing the TNA run after his retirement hurt. What hurt more was when they talked about the death of his son.
Oh, I can imagine that.
That hurt so much, because even Charlotte, which they actually they called her by her actual name, Ashley.
Yep.
The fact that when she said, like, if it wasn't for my brother, I wouldn't be wrestling, because like that was his dream, not mine.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it hurt so bad, because I was just like, oh God. They even showed one of his matches in All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
I was just like, it hurt. It was just like, because you look at that and like, even like Rick himself has said, like, I wasn't the best father. I wasn't the best husband. I wasn't even a good one. He's like, when I'm gone, I want to be remembered as the best and most entertaining wrestler.
Yeah.
And even Triple H like says that he uses Ric Flair as an example of, you can get to the top and then it can just all fall apart.
Yeah.
Because like Ric Flair's career is anything but diamonds and gold. Like, because like when he got near the end of that, like it was hard, and it was like. It was definitely a roller coaster ride of a 30 for 30. I really enjoyed it. I do recommend if you can.
Oh no, I will find a way to watch it. It is on my I just finished Stranger Things 2, so now the Ric Flair 30 for 30 is on my list.
I finished that beforehand, and yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have it on their website or if they're gonna have
I'll find it
somewhere.
Means.
Yeah, there'll be means to find it for sure.
Even if it's not legal, I'll find ways to watch it.
It was very entertaining, and it was very strong, and it just like it makes you love Ric Flair even more, especially because at the beginning of the show, they showed the first time they met Rick for the interview in 2015, and then 2017 in February, before he had his massive like scare.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing too, because you look at that and you're just like, you look at all this stuff that this guy's went through, but then you see moments when he's with Charlotte, and you see moments where he's just like oozing with happiness, and you're just like, oh God, like it's just like, it's so good to see him happy, because like for a lot of that time, like he even like there's a moment he mentions like I couldn't go back to my room after a match, like I would be miserable. I couldn't be alone in my room. That's why he would go to a bar and like just buy shots for everyone in the bar and start a party. Jim Ross would be with him, and like, can't we just like have a couple beers and have a conversation? But it's like him needing companionship and like wanting to have people around him. And it's just like, it's such a crazy, interesting story, like, and like one that I felt like needed to be told.
And it's crazy too, because like, you know, a little story time. When I auditioned to be the Ringmasters co-host, we talked about who our favorite wrestlers were, and I said that my favorite wrestler of all time, no matter what, was Ric Flair. You know, I love Ric Flair. Ric Flair is always going to be what I picture a professional wrestler to be. You know, Ric Flair is, there's no one, he's untouchable. And, you know, when he talks about his life, you know, he makes it sound like it's the dream. You know, like all the girls he's slept with, all the venues he's sold out, like a celebrity status of Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in like, I don't know, it's such a contrast from like what actually happens in it.
Well, I mean, like, it's a giant. They even mentioned how much of a contrast it was from the NWA and WCW and WWF, because Hulk Hogan was the main guy in WWF. Ric Flair was the main guy in the NWA. They're so contrasting, because like even Hogan said like like Flair was 10 times better than me. Like every time someone's like you're such an inspiration to wrestling, and he's like, no, that's Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, and I'm like, damn. And I'm like,
and if you bring somebody who like isn't like a wrestling fan, and you tell them to name like a wrestler, you know, they're gonna say Hulk Hogan. They'll probably say like John Cena now or The Rock, but they will also always know who Ric Flair is.
I mean, yeah, I love, and I knew they were gonna show it, but they showed the footage of the football players saying Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun.
Woo!
And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. I'll give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah.
It's like, oh God. Like when I first saw that from the Colts locker room, I was like, that is the coolest.
Yeah.
Like that reminded me, that was like, that and Michigan State doing the giant yes chant were 2 of my favorite like wrestling moments outside of pro wrestling.
Right.
It's just such a cool thing. But anyway, get back on SmackDown Live's trail, but watch the 30 for 30 if you can.
It is on my to-do list.
Yeah, it is very good.
I will have it watched by our next podcast.
Did you see the XFL one?
No.
That was really entertaining.
I watched half of it at a bar, and then I have not seen the second half.
It's very good. By far, like, I'm going to touch on that too, because that was one of my other favorite ones. Just seeing Vince McMahon talk about one of his biggest public failures, like, was really interesting. The one moment that was crazy was the one that they talked about the primetime game that was airing on NBC, and SNL was up next afterwards. And the generator that was used to power the truck runs out of fuel, so they have to cut to the other game that's being aired in a separate area in order, like it's like, and the game's getting towards overtime, and then it goes like double overtime, and like they're running overtime, and it was like I think it was a huge SNL because Jennifer Lopez was going to be on it, and they had to go over their time slot because the game was going on too long, and that was the one thing NBC's like, you can have your primetime slot. You got to get off the air before SNL, and they didn't. And then, like, just Vince going, all because someone forgot to fill gas in the goddamn generator. I was just, like, watching this, I'm like, oh! I'm like, it was just insane, because, like, you look at that, and it's, like, such a blunder of a company.
Can you imagine if that happened, like, nowadays, if, like, if something happened and, like, Raw went over, and, like, Vince McMahon would just, like, start firing people. Like,
yeah. I mean, it was even cool because they even mentioned like some stuff that XFL did that the NFL now does, like the camera that like follows the football player. Like, I can't remember the actual physical name for it, but like the one that's like hanging above the players, like on a giant like string thing. I know, like it's the one that's like always floating behind them.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like I can't remember the name of it, but I like the NFL took that from XFL. And, like, just, like, the players' shots and stuff like that. I mean, like, it was really interesting. The 30 for 30s really, in general, are always great. Like, those...
My personal favorites are the Bad Boys 30 for 30.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that one was great, too. They're like the WWE 24s. I love those, too.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, any of the WWE DVDs that they do on a certain superstar, I still need to get Kevin Owens's, because that one, I need to see that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Now getting back on SmackDown Live... Shane McMahon brings out the New Day. He dances with the New Day, kind of celebrates them. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens comes out. Sami Zayn comes out just like stomping away as he walks. Just like this ridiculous walk.
They're awesome.
Yeah, nice ole ole chants. And then they're like, Shane, listen, you're not cool. You should never dance again. They mock Sami Zayn's dance entrance. And he's like, listen, we could have beat up the whole Raw roster if we wanted to. It's like, but you set us up to fail. Like, we're not even on the SmackDown team because of you guys. I lost to a low blow. Shane didn't fix that. If I would have done that, I would have been reprimanded immediately. We are the top 2 superstars on this roster, just completely laying into them. And what do the New Day have to respond with that? They call Sami Zayn a paperboy. They call him Paperboy. And then they make fun of the fact that Kevin Owens has got his hand so far up your butt that every time Sammy brushes his teeth, which is not often, Kevin Owens gets a manicure. Oh! And I'm just like, God damn it. It's like, I say this all the time. You want your baby faces to be like actually like take the high ground, but then they make stupid jokes like this.
I feel like the New Day is okay though, because the New Day's entire gimmick is they're childish people who have their own cereal, wear unicorn horns, and are just jokers. So I feel like they get a pass.
Yeah, but
now if that would have been AJ Styles who said that, I understand your point.
But here's the thing, though. Like, you say that, and then you want to make Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens seem legitimate, because then afterwards they had Sami Zayn versus Kofi Kingston.
This I don't agree with.
Yes. You have them come out, they make fun of Sami Zayn, and then Kofi Kingston goes over with a crossbody.
Yeah.
With a crossbody. See, part of me felt like this was a botch, because Kevin Owens came in, and I thought he missed his cue. I thought he came in, was supposed to interrupt Kofi Kingston for the pinfall, and then it would be a DQ win for Kofi Kingston. But he got the pinfall victory, and then KO started beating up on him. I was like, what the hell happened? Because I don't think that was supposed to happen.
I too thought that, and I think I read somewhere that that's like an overall consensus, is that they think it was a botch. Because, like, yeah, Kevin Owens looked like he missed his cue, and it doesn't make sense for Sami Zayn to lose to Kofi Kingston with a crossbody. Yeah.
I'm like, it just did not make sense at all. The only thing that I took from this match was when Kofi was like bouncing on the top rope and then flipped onto Sami Zayn. That was very cool. And it also made me realize how much I want the Blue Thunder Bomb to actually pin people.
Yeah.
Like, because it's such a good move.
So do you think, I actually just had this thought, do you think next week on SmackDown, do you think the New Day are going to be like in the ring doing something, and then the Shield invasion? I could see the Shield coming down the ring.
I could see that, yeah.
Them.
Especially since Roman's returning, I could see Raw putting SmackDown under siege with basically just the Shield.
With just the Shield?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Maybe the Shield and then maybe like Braun. But like, you know, it's kind of sad that, you know, the entire SmackDown roster minus the main eventers had to like get involved with a siege, and I feel like they just need the Shield, Joe, and Braun, and they could do probably more damage.
Yep. And coming after that, we had Randy Orton versus Rusev to get the final, the next position for the SmackDown team. Aiden English comes out. It's Rusev Day. The first thing I did, I got my 280 characters on Twitter. The first thing I did for that was to test that out. It's Rusev Day.
Did you see? You know how like when SmackDown's going on, you know how
I
saw
I saw on the Twitter on the bottom hand. Yeah, it's Rusev Day was one of them. Yeah. That was great. Rusev gets hit with an RKO, basically out of like a legitimate out of nowhere.
You would say,
basically out of nowhere. So Randy Orton's now on Team SmackDown Live, and poor Rusev is left off the show.
Well, Randy Orton was the first guy announced on the team. Like he was always on the team. This was
his last shot. Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah, this was you know, Randy's already on the team. If Rusev wins, he's on the team. If he doesn't, he's not on the team. If I remember correctly, because Randy was like the first guy they announced.
Randy was already on. I remember, but then we had Ellsworth backstage before.
I'm really upset Rusev isn't on the team.
Yeah, I am too. I'm upset because Rusev's great. Because I feel like if they turned him babyface, I feel like they might actually do a little bit more with him.
Especially if they kept him with Aiden English and they did the Rusev Day kind of thing.
Yeah,
like I don't know,
because he's so over. If
they do a shakeup, if they do a shakeup, they either need to get Rusev and Aiden on Raw, or they need to get Elias Sampson on SmackDown and make them a trio.
Yes,
because that would be cool.
That would be very cool. Because then you could have like a legitimate It's Rusev Day band.
With a song, yeah.
That could be your entrance theme. Like, just make a song for that.
That'd be great. I didn't even think of that. Like, Elias and Aiden come down and sing Rusev Day as Rusev just walks down.
That could be Rusev Day!
That'd be so cool.
That needs
to be a thing now.
But yeah, this was announced earlier in the day. We got James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch. I'm grasping at straws, but it's intergender wrestling in WWE. I mean, that's something, right? I mean, we haven't had that in years.
And we didn't need it again.
Yeah, well.
I'd be okay if I never saw it again.
Honestly, it's like, it's a start, because I know there are people that like the fact that intergender wrestling is somewhat back.
I have no problem with, in PWG, like, there's intergender wrestling.
Yeah,
like,
well.
One of the best matches I've ever seen, the Young Bucks put spikes on their shoes and super kick Candice LeRae in the face and her face, like, it was brutal. But I have a problem with it being Becky Lynch versus James Ellsworth. That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah,
I have a problem with James Ellsworth being employed with that company.
Here's my problem with this match necessarily was, one, Becky Lynch, the Women's Survivor Series, the entire Women's Survivor Series team felt the need to be out there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why do you feel the need to back up Becky Lynch when she's facing James Ellsworth of all people?
Like, if she was going toe-to-toe with, like, Asuka, or if you're going to keep the intergender, if she was going toe-to-toe with Braun Strowman, sure, you bring out the entire squad.
But before the match started, when they were backstage, Ellsworth is saying all this sexist stuff, like, you're a woman and I'm a man. A woman should never be in the ring. I only let Carmella do it because it makes her happy. This is Manchester, not Womanchester.
That was a funny line.
Then Becky's like, those are ballsy statement. Pity you don't have any.
Oh, no.
I was like, at that actually, I was like, ooh. And I was like, that was all right. But I was just like, I love the fact that we're just making Ellsworth literally sexist for no reason.
More very sophisticated writing from WWE.
Of course. I feel like Vince wrote that all down at once, just
probably.
by himself.
And it was probably like busting a gut with laughter.
They're in Manchester.
Sexist jokes.
Not Womanchester. Like, it's just put that picture of Vince McMahon laughing with R-Truth just all over the place.
Yep. And then I said Manchester, not Womanchester.
And then just like he's got all his yes men surrounding him. This is the part where I never get the job to work with WWE as a commentator. This is the part where they never hire me.
See, I feel like anybody who has a wrestling podcast, unless you're just a WWE shill, does indeed point out things wrong with WWE. So I feel like you're fine on that end.
I feel like at the same time, it's like I want them to be good, but like they gotta hire some better writers.
Yeah,
they gotta hire some better writers
and get a better owner. See, you didn't say that. I did. I'll never work for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was like this match was way longer than it needed to be. It was really like I thought. Why is this match longer than 30 seconds? It should just be Becky kicks Ellsworth in the no chin. And then puts him in the disarmer and then wins the match. It went on for like 4 minutes. I was like, this did not need to happen.
Nope.
And I'm like, I don't even want to mention like what happened in the match because I was just like, wow, this is stupid. Except for the fact that Carmella, after the match, super kicked James Ellsworth in the face.
Yep.
Now people were like, could this be a babyface turn for Carmella? I don't think so because the idea is that Carmella is basically using and like dragging along Ellsworth, and like I think he's into this kind of stuff. Like,
oh no,
I feel like Ellsworth is like, yes,
oh man,
hit me, Carmella.
Put the kids to bed. This is becoming a whole new different podcast.
Here's the thing. It's like with WWE, you can expect them to sneak something like this in their PG program. For God's sakes, we had Enzo try to sleep with a man's wife. It's like he can sneak something in there if he wants to. But yeah, then we announced that Charlotte will face Natalya next week for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Here's my question for you, good sir.
Go ahead.
Do you think that Charlotte goes over just like AJ may or may not go over, since we haven't touched upon it in the podcast yet, because they don't like the idea of Natalya versus Alexa Bliss?
I feel
or
like...
do you think Natalya goes over because they want Carmella to cash in at Survivor Series? And they don't want Carmella, and they don't want Charlotte to take that rub.
See, I feel like they do it with either of them.
Well,
just because
my thought process here is if Charlotte, Charlotte's coming off that very successful 30 for 30, and it's Charlotte, so it makes sense for her to be your champion. But also, I want Carmella to be the champion.
Yeah. It's the same thing we were saying kind of about AJ. Like people wanted AJ Styles to beat Jinder Mahal so that way they could have Jinder Mahal. So they wouldn't get Jinder versus Brock. But at the same time, they don't want AJ to be fed to Brock Lesnar. It's like I looked at that and it was like a lose-lose. It was a win-lose for either of them because like you got something good out of it, but at the same because like if you had Jinder facing Brock, you got to see Brock kill Jinder. But AJ wouldn't be your champion. But if you had AJ win, AJ would be your champion and Jinder wouldn't be your champion. But then he would most likely lose to Brock. And then there's the possibility with the India tour coming back around that he would become a 2-time champion heading into that India tour. It's like, it's really like you're picking your poison at this point because it's like, take the red pill, this happens. Take the blue pill, this happens. It's like they literally took that from an online wrestling post. It was like, we're going to do that.
Yeah. But
yeah, so I think, I feel like they would give Charlotte the title because of the 30 for 30. I don't think they're going to have Carmella cash in just yet.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I feel like what would happen would be that Charlotte would win the title, face Alexa Bliss, and then
which is going to be a great match.
And then say Becky Lynch wins the title offer, and then Carmella cashes in.
Okay,
I feel like
sense.
Becky would be an easier person for them to cash in because Becky hasn't had too much stuff to do, and it would give a good a storyline for her to get her title back because she won it fair and square, and Carmella sneaked her way to get the title. That's what I feel like would happen.
That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, but then we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Usos. This match was just stupid.
Well, I mean, I think the ending had to get changed because I think Jimmy got hurt.
Yeah, he did get hurt. Yeah, I heard a rumor about that.
Yeah, he I think fucked his shoulder right up. So
here's what I would say about that. Like, I understand that too, but like kayfabe reasons, it makes no sense. I understand if he's hurt and like if he is hurt, get well soon, but it doesn't make any sense for the referee to stop Gable or stop Shelton from going outside to bring the Usos back into the ring because they had champion's advantage. Mm-hmm. It was like, it made no sense why the referee stopped him. It made no sense why they listened.
Yeah.
This is what I would have figured that they should have done. Like, you could have brought him back into the ring and had like Uso super kick him and then win the match just like that. It would have been a quick and dumb finish, but it wouldn't be let them keep the titles by count out stupid, because that's how stupid that was.
Yeah.
But if it is because of an injury, like, I can kind of understand it a little bit more. But
if it is an injury, they should still have had Shelton and Gable go over, so then at least we have a tag team champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like even then, like, you could just had them win by DQ.
Right.
Like, you could have just had like.
Well, I'm just saying if one of the Usos is hurt and they can't make Survivor Series, are you just scrapping that match? You should at least put the belts on Gable and Benjamin, so at least we have tag team champions to face the Bar.
Yeah, I don't know if they know the extent of the injury at the same time though, so we'll see exactly how that is. There was a AJ Styles promo afterwards from backstage. There were more edited pops. He said, "I'm going to become the Beastmaster." Can we just drop that name right now?
Yep.
The Beastmaster is the stupidest name you could ever give to someone.
Yep.
Like, I'm okay with Kingslayer. I'm okay with, like, I slayed the beast. Beastmaster, that sounds like something from Dungeons and Dragons, in my opinion. But yeah, they also announced 2 more matches for next week SmackDown Live. So it's like basically they announced the entire card for next week's SmackDown Live, because we got the Women's Championship. We also have Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara for the United States Championship.
Come on, Sin Cara.
Like, come on.
Pull it off.
You can do it, man. And then we have the New Day versus Kevin and Sami next week, which should be a very good match.
Which is when the Shield will probably interfere.
Yeah, probably. And then finally
the main event,
Jinder Mahal versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. I was not able to avoid spoilers with this one because, of course, because of the fact that it was recorded 4 hours prior, basically, because they're in the UK. I was not able to avoid spoilers, especially when I follow the Cultaholic guys. It's like, it's very hard to avoid that. It's like, geez, like, it's like you'd have to basically cut your internet connection off, because even the WWE Network app plugged it. Like, they notified me, and I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I mean, I'm assuming just to make sure people would watch.
Yeah.
But like, at the same time, people were gonna watch anyway because AJ was gonna get a shot at the title.
Because we knew a title match was coming.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be like, a title has changed, so that way we would watch. We were gonna watch anyway.
Yeah. But AJ Styles is the world champion.
Yep, right. He just shook his AJ Styles shirt like crazy. Yeah. I wanted to mention how the UK crowd chanted, "You can't wrestle and you're on steroids" to Jinder.
Oh no.
To which the "you're on steroids" chant, he flexed. I was like, Now, 2 things. I think both those chants are very, 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 very stubborn and like not true, because Jinder can wrestle. Everybody on the main roster can wrestle. Like, there's not a single person in there that can't wrestle, in my opinion.
I agree. I'll agree with that.
For fans to chant "you can't wrestle" when none of them have wrestled a day in their lives, like, you can't say that. You could say maybe he's not the best worker.
I'm wrestling with student loan debt. Can I say Jinder Mahal can't wrestle?
I don't think that's the same thing.
Oh, well, all right.
But yeah, you can't really say that. And the "you're on steroids," like, if you look at Jinder's Instagram and his Twitter, he works like a mother trucker, like, it's crazy. And also, I'm sure he's on supplements, but nothing like illegal. Yeah. I'm sure. Like, he says his prayers, he eats his vitamins.
Yeah, he follows the Hulk Hogan regimen.
Oh, guarantee, yeah. So yeah, AJ Styles is the new WWE champion. This is the first time in history that a title has changed hands in the UK.
Yeah, big deal.
Huge deal. Congrats to the UK crowd, because they deserve something like this. Like, if they can't get a pay-per-view out of WWE, at least they finally got a title change and a main title change.
Yeah.
and something as big as AJ Styles becoming the new WWE champion. So yeah, I mean that's it. And now we have AJ Styles heading to face the Beast Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, which I think would be a good match. And I think if anyone were to put on a good wrestling match with Brock Lesnar, it would be AJ Styles.
It's a dream match. I'm excited. I
agree, yeah, and I'm also excited, but I feel like there's a lot of fear that AJ will be fed to Brock Lesnar.
I don't think he's gonna get fed. I don't think he'll win. I think Brock will definitely win, and I think Brock will definitely dominate for a lot of it. But I don't think it's gonna be AJ gets no offense. I think AJ has too much stock with that company, and I think AJ's too good to get buried.
Yeah, well, I don't even think he would get buried if he lost, just because of the fact that he's AJ frickin' Styles. And then, of course, there's the rumors that's going around that Jinder Mahal is being advertised for the Indian tour that's happening over in December as a 2-time WWE champion. So will we see AJ hold this title for like a month or two and then give it back to Jinder?
Which, I mean, you know, the entire point is for him to have it for the tour. So I'm okay with it. As long as after the tour is over, he loses it at the next pay-per-view. Like, I'm okay with it 2-time. I just, as long as they drop it immediately after that.
Yeah. I mean, like, if your whole point is to sell the tour, I guess, yeah. But I was just like, I just look at that and I'm like, Jinder Mahal 2-time champion, like, that still irks me just the slightest bit. And I'm like, even just to talk about Jinder again, like, I don't hate Jinder. The guy, the character, like, I think the character is boring. I think the idea of a sneaky heel that has his 2 buddies has already been done before. Hell, it's been done with Seth Rollins with J&J Security. We've seen this sort of thing before, so it's nothing original. My issue is the fact that what we're being so lazy with this and the stuff that we're giving Jinder is just like nothing entertaining, nothing interesting, and nothing that does legitimately good heel work. Because like the only heel work is that nobody wanted most people didn't want Jinder as champion because it's a member of it's the worst member of 3MB. It's just the fact that like I want Jinder to do good. I want everybody to do good. I want WWE to be the best that it possibly can be. I just don't, because I know Jinder's working hard, and like they're all working hard to work with what they're given by a crazy lunatic boss and a 4th grade writing staff. But it's just like, man, I mean, if it hasn't worked once, why are we gonna try again? Because especially like as Josh said previously, like, it's been heard that the Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion isn't working to get the Indian audience. So why are we gonna try again?
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense. Hell, put the IC title on him. Yeah. Like, or put the US title on him.
I think him with a US title run would be more successful.
Because there you go.
Then you hate America.
Yeah, there's your
the
foreign
US
gimmick.
Champion.
Yeah. But then again, we've done that so many times.
Yes,
but at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's one interesting week in wrestling for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's been a very great week. Hopefully the next few weeks leading into Survivor Series can be even better. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us here on Ringmasters. Now, we do have a Twitter account now for the Ringmasters podcast. You can follow us at
Ringmasters Pod. It's very easy.
Yep, it's very easy. And then you can follow me, Austin, at SZoomer4 on Twitter, and you can follow Chad.
I am at the Chad100.
So thank you guys once again for tuning in for another episode of Ringmasters podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Have a wrestle-tastic day.
Sugar